Detroit just put its finger on the pressure dial and turned it up quietly, deliberately, like a team that knows exactly what January football demands. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. I'm walking you through the move that could change. How every offensive coordinator scripts first down against us, the ripple effect on our secondary rotations, the dollars and draft math behind it, and the truth about whether this front office pulls the trigger before the deadline hits. I start with what I'm hearing and what the tape says. Then I'll show you where the cap lines up, who gets squeezed snap to snap, and how this impacts our playoff pass rush plan. Stick with me, because the final piece, the actual target, and what it costs comes when we tie the football, health, and money together. I'm not here to sell hope. I'm here to show you a plan. And yeah, the timing? It's last minute for a reason. When you swing for the right kind of certainty at edge, you do it after you read the room across the league and confirm your own guys' timelines. That's where Detroit is right now. You felt it on Sundays, when our rush gets layered huts crashing the C-gap, games up front loosening the pocket on the second hitch. This defense looks like it belongs in late January. When we don't get that first wave to land, our DBs carry too long, and the ball finds grass that shouldn't be there. That's not a character flaw. That's just the modern NFL. So the conversation in Allen Park has become brutally practical. Bolster a unit that already carries our identity, or trust that internal returns hit fast enough to avoid a deadline spend. This is why the target we're circling is a specific profile, not a splashy billboard name. I'm talking about a proven pro who plays every week, wins his share of one-on-ones, and makes your star even more dangerous because the protection can't hide its help. I'm talking about a motor that doesn't lie, a length and leverage rusher who shrinks throwing windows by half a beat so our safeties and corners don't live on an island forever. Let's build this brick by brick. First brick, production that travels. Through 8 games this season, the guy we're evaluating has stacked real, repeatable numbers, tackles that finish, hits that sting, pressures that arrive exactly when offensive lines start to breathe. He's done it year over year too. 3 straight seasons north of 5. 5 sacks and reliable QB hits, and he doesn't disappear in December when bodies hurt and the league gets colder and meaner. Second brick, availability. We can romanticize Ben and burst, but the best trade in November is active on Sunday. This guy dresses, plays, and takes the ugly snaps that don't make highlight reels but flip field position a drive later. Third brick, contract shape. Detroit does not make panic buys with long-tail money. We buy control, predictability, and exit ramps. The deal here is clean team control through 2027, base figures that you can live with, even after incentive escalators, and an out before 2027's money turns into a scar. That means we're not mortgaging draft class flexibility or extensions for our core. Fourth brick, fit next to Aiden Hutchinson. The job isn't to steal headlines, it's to tilt protections. With a credible rush threat on the opposite edge, slide rules change, backs chip differently, and those 3rd and 6 South become 3rd and 11s because quarterbacks eat a hitch and drift. That's where Hutch goes from force to finish. Add a veteran who wins with hands and timing, not just raw speed, and you raise the floor of every 4-man rush we call. Now the realities. We've been managing defensive health in the back end, and when a top corner goes down, your front has to buy the coverage and extra breath. I don't need to sell you a sob story. You watched it. We've mixed and matched, found gamers, and stayed competitive anyway because the identity holds. But a smart front office asks, do we spend a mid-round pick to freeze the leak now? Or do we bet on our own room getting whole and keep the pick in our pocket? Don't forget the other lever edge returns. There's optimism on key bodies returning before the season flips, but optimism isn't a plan. You don't project a hamstring or a chest contusion like a spreadsheet. You build a roster that can win even if the best-case timeline slides 2 more weeks. That's what this move does. It gives us grown men, can play tomorrow's certainty on the edge while rehab groups keep stacking good days. And since you know I care about the money as much as I care about the tape, here's the brass tacks. The cap isn't just a line item, it's culture. We've rolled space forward for a reason. Extensions, locker room promises, keeping the core intact. So any deadline ad must come with a number that doesn't choke 2026 or 2027. The player. I'm talking about checks that box because of how his deal was structured and restructured. Yes, the cap hits climb on someone else's books, and that's part of why he's even available for a rational price. That brings us to the market. What does it cost? The honest range I'm hearing in modeling is fifth-round sweet spot, with a possibility that another suitor nudges it to a conditional fourth if a bidding spark catches. You know my stance. If it stays at a 5 or a 5 plus a late swap, you do it and don't look back. If it jumps to a straight 4, you at least make that GM2GM call and test the conditions, playtime, sacks, team result, before you say yes, because the return you're buying isn't vanity. It's a measurable hit on pressure rate, early down, EPA, and how often we can play coverage behind 4 instead of sending 5. Role and deployment, simple and mean. Early downs, set a firm edge, collapse the pocket with heavy hands. Keep quarterbacks in the well so Hutch and our interior can close. Passing downs, wide 9 heat when we want to stress the tackles outside. Hip, inside counters to punish oversets. And stunts that let him cross the guard's face. He's been productive there, and it complements our current rush menu. Snap share lives in that 55 to 65% window, so we preserve gas for the fourth quarter. The minute he arrives, the rotation smooths, and suddenly your third rusher is a change-up instead of a life raft. What does this mean for the room? It's not a demotion story. It's a playoff mass story. Veterans slot into matchups they can win more consistently. Young guys develop without carrying the entire third and long burden, and our DC gets to call games like a bully. Watch how our simulated pressures fake out protections once offenses. Respect both edges backs delay releases, tight ends park on the line, and your 5 eligible become 4. That's how turnovers show up without hero ball. If you're wondering about culture fit, that's the easiest green light I've got. The player's reputation is sweat and seriousness. He's shown up in the league as an unheralded worker, who climbed into starter snaps by stacking boringly good days, and those are the guys who survive here. You won't see flamboyance. You'll see a pro who lines up, does his job, and walks off. That's Detroit football. And if you're playing the skeptic good, here are the fair questions I beat to death. Is he an elite change-your-franchise pass rusher? No. He's a rock-solid starter whose value spikes next to a star, not a solo wrecking crew. Does he have a double-digit sack season on the resume? Not yet. You're buying consistency, durability, and exactly enough juice to punish single blocks while Hutch eats doubles. Could the price inflate beyond smart? Yes, if a desperate contender overspends, or if the selling team pretends December cap is July cap. That's where our discipline matters. There's a very real line where we walk away and ride internal returns. But if the board holds where I think it holds, this is one of those grown-up, win-the-margins ads that playoff teams make without becoming someone else. All right, climax time. The move on the table is Carl Granderson. 7-year vet, sturdy. Production through 8 games this season, with 31 tackles, a stack of pressures, and 4. 5 sacks, durable track record, and a contract our front office can game plan around with control through 2027 and an exit before 2027 money hardens. His presence next to Hutchinson tilts the math, and it gives us the right kind of certainty while our own edge room works back toward full strength. Price I signed today, a 5th rounder with wiggle for a late pick swap if needed. Price where I pause, a clean 4th without conditions. Football impact, immediate. Culture impact, clean. Cap impact, manageable within our long-term path. That's my read. Before I close, I want your voice in this. Would you spend a 5th today for Granderson snaps and reliability? Or would you hold the pick and bet on our own room getting healthy fast? And if the ask is a straight fourth, are you in or out? Drop your reasoning below position value, snap share, your trust level in our returns, because I'll build the next breakdown around the smartest comment and I'll shout you out on the upload. My closing analysis, clear and professional. The Lions land Carl Granderson buzz exists because his production, durability, and contract structure align with Detroit's late season needs and philosophy. If the cost stays in the 5th round corridor, it's a smart, playoff-minded acquisition that makes our star better without mortgaging the future. But if the price climbs into a clean 4th or our injured edges hit earlier than expected timetables, the disciplined play is to stand pat. If you're here for fast updates and tape plus cap analysis that respects your time, tap subscribe, like this video so more Lions fans find it, and turn on notifications. When the phone rings in Allen Park, you'll hear it here first.